So, Oren, we've had quite a bill drop recently. I know it's meant a lot of sleepless nights for you and I and the rest of the team, but we have an insight that's out now, and we're hoping that people can get through it, and it discusses a lot of what's in the bill. But before we get there, I think it's probably worth explaining that maybe even by the time they read the bill, there'll be changes. And I know you worked on the Hill, so maybe you could just quickly explain what's going on.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. So we put out an insight piece. It summarizes the bill that has been introduced as it stands at this moment. And as you point out, Mike, the bill could be modified as we are moving forward. And there's a process to moving forward as we go. As you know, tax bills originate in the House. It starts in the Ways and Means Committee, and that's where we are today. We are marking up. We are having a hearing, going through this pretty significant tax bill in the Ways and Means Committee. The goal is to get that out of committee, into the House, have a vote, pass the bill. There could be future changes to the bill that was already introduced, so we could see even more changes even while it's on the House side. While that process is taking place, the Senate is anticipating introducing its own tax reform bill perhaps sometime this week. The bill is expected to be similar but not identical to what the House is doing. It'll start off in the Finance Committee. That process is going to run parallel. It goes through the Finance Committee. Its goal is to get out of Finance Committee through its hearing process, put out through the budget reconciliation process to the full Senate floor. And the expectation is the two bills, if they do get passed by each full chamber, they get passed but not identical bills. And so at that point what happens is they need to reconcile the bills passed by the House and Senate. That gets reconciled in what's called a conference committee. And in conference, you take representatives of the House and the Senate, they sit down, they figure out, okay, how do we put all the differences together, reconcile this bill into one conference committee bill. They agree, they send it back to each chamber. Each chamber has to pass each identical bill. If they pass the identical bills, at that point, then they can send the bill to the president for his signature.
So, Oren, also in the bill are some interest limitation rules that are big news. Could you quickly explain what those two are?
Sure. Two limitation provisions. One limitation provision essentially will cap a business at 30% of their adjusted taxable income. Think about it roughly as EBITDA. Brand new sweeping provision. Second provision applies to multinational groups. It essentially will limit their ability to deduct interest depending on how leveraged they are domestically compared to the worldwide group. You do the two computations separately. You choose which one gives you the worst answer. The worst answer is what you don't get to deduct.
Wow, a worst overall. So good reading.